Rolling. Welcome everyone to the DC Live from the Hive Audio Series, Part 2 of wireless audio. My name is Andrew Raut. I am the course director for Introduction to Post-Production. I have with me my co-host, lab specialist extraordinaire, Alan Harris.
Great to be here with you.
In the booth, we have with us Mike Hanley, the course director for Project and Portfolio 2. We also have Ron Diltz, course director for Project and Portfolio 1, and Randy Baker, the course director for Composition and Visual Design. So we're going to have a great time tonight. In part 1, we talked about wireless systems, the different manufacturers, the transmitters, receivers, all that kind of good stuff. So what are we going to do in part 2? Well, at this point, we're going to talk about wiring techniques. We're going to start off with introducing you to a number of manufacturers and their wires or lavalier mics. We'll talk about more tools of the trade. Those things are like mounts, stickies, softies for wind protection, and a lot more. So once we go through the tools of the trade, we're just going to get down to wiring techniques from just your straight ahead on open air alligator clip, mounts, to rubber mounts, to tapes. We're going to talk about how do we wire a polo or a button down, or even a cooking apron and a tie rig, hat rig. So we're going to be looking at a lot of different ways we mount things. So let's get started. Before we can really get into the techniques of wiring, we want to talk first about some professionalism things, some protocols. How do we do this on set? How do we deal with talent? How do we deal with all of the other departments when we're trying to come together to make a movie or documentary or any project that requires wiring? So I want to start by asking Alan what your thoughts are on when you go onto a set and you kind of feel out what the project is and where you are in the talent. What are some of the things that go through your mind that you want to address before we even put a wire on a talent?
So I definitely want to do some introductions. Okay. Film in any type of project like this is collaboration. And the more you as a team work together, the better the project's going to be. So definitely introducing yourself to people who are in direct line with you. And honestly, as a sound guy, that's more than you think. Usually it's just like, it's just me. And maybe I talk to talent and maybe a script supervisor. But honestly, you're talking to most of the people in the crew. So introduction is a really big thing. And also introducing yourself to the first assistant director, if you haven't done so already, and getting them the information of your time frame. Hey, is first shot going to be in 10 minutes or is first shot going to be in like an hour or so? That's definitely one of the first things.
So let's talk about how do we address talent? Because this buzz tonight is about wiring talent. So we have to create a rapport with the talent so they feel comfortable, because we're going to be dealing with them a lot. Mm-hmm. Probably, maybe not as much as hair and makeup and wardrobe, but we're going to be wiring them. So we're going to be talking to them, being around them a lot. Yep. So one of the first things I always do is I try to learn everyone's name on the set. Like Alan said, all of the leads, be it camera, director, producer, because like he said, we are going to be interfacing with them quite a bit. But when it comes to talent, how do we address talent? Well, we want to be professional. We want to go up to them just straight on, like so, introduce ourselves to them, say, hey, I'm Andy. Andy Raut, I'm the boom op utility. I'm going to be wiring you, and so that's the first thing. Oh, side note, always eat a mint before you start to wire talent, because you are going to be in their personal space. Now, I'll tell you this much. That was one of the hardest things for me to get a handle on, when I was learning to wire. But think about this. You are putting a wire on talent and you're in their wardrobe. Okay. So one of the main departments you want to make your best friend is the wardrobe department, because you have to understand that wardrobe, like camera, the camera gear belongs to the camera team. The sound gear belongs to the sound team. Wardrobe belongs to wardrobe. So when you are wiring wardrobe, make the wardrobe department your best friend, because they will help you. Not just, telling you where you can wire and this, that. They might even do the wiring for you. Okay. So understand, when you're wiring males, that's pretty, I haven't had any real issues with that. Have you, Alan?
No, nothing.
But when it comes to wiring females, don't be surprised if they want their personal assistant to wire them or wardrobe to wire them. That's cool. Just educate them to how you want it wired. With children, always make sure there is an adult present, be it their handler, be it their parent, while you're wiring them. And it might not be too much to think that the parent might want to do the wiring. Mm-hmm. So just be cool about that. Say, okay, cool, here you go. Just do it like this. But it's important that it's always good to have somebody in the room when you're wiring. What about retrieving wireless? When we wrap, what's your take on that, Alan?
So it can be very hectic, especially if you're dealing with maybe more of a commercial setting. Maybe you have a whole bunch of earpieces out for clients. A lot of people want to be done for the day. So it is your job to make sure that there just aren't people yanking off your gear, because at the end of the day, most of the time a sound guy owns that equipment and it's going to be up to you to fix it. So make sure you have the talent or the wardrobe team or whoever would be the person that might go and try to take off that wire. Let them know, hey, we're going to be there as soon as we can. Please wait for us. Because we're going to go over some mounting techniques that might even not hurt, but cause some small injury if they do it improperly, and also maybe break the gear. Also, taking it home. Make sure that they don't take that gear home by accident. They get used to that gear, especially if you do a really good job. I have so many people be like, oh, I didn't even realize it was still on.
Oh, yeah.
And they just walk out the door.
Right. And also to what Alan was saying, this being our gear, if talent just feels compelled that they want to just rip that mic off and pull the pack and whatever and leave, you'll realize real quickly that these wires, as we call them, the lav mics, are very delicate. We kind of refer to them as being high casualty items. That lav microphones can range anywhere from $200 to $500 just for one. So it's better that we take the wires off, because we know the proper way to remove them. Okay, great. When we talk about wiring, when we actually show you to wire, there are pretty much two ways we can wire. We can see the mic, or we can hide the mic. Typically for news, talking head, interviews, all of that, we're accustomed to actually seeing the wire. So we don't really think much about it. But when you talk about making a movie, we don't want to see the microphone. So that's where you have to really get in and develop the skills of wiring and understanding how wardrobe works, everything from the fabrics and all of that kind of stuff work. So we really don't want to see it. So that's one of the big things we're going to talk about tonight. So why don't we just get to showing them
Let's do it.
the tools.
Let's have
Okay,
fun.
Great. Yep. Take it away, Alan.
So we actually, well, it depends on your mic. Every mic is different in kind of two ways. Number one, you have, we can show this guy right here. You have the size of your capsule. So this is going to be the physical size of your capsule. And again, every single wire or microphone is going to sound slightly different, and it's just depending on your taste. I personally am not the biggest fan of these larger capsules whenever we're dealing with hiding the mic, because the larger the capsule, the harder it is to hide in places. The other side we have to think about is the actual termination. So this is going to be dependent on the specific brand of wireless receiver or transmitter you're using is going to have different ports for plugging in that termination. So this is actually for a Sony. It's a 3.5 millimeter. And we can see right here, plugs in, nice little twist, nice and secure. Again, this is for specifically a Sony. The other one that's very, very common is for a Electrosonics wire.
There you go.
So, thank you very much.
Here.
Thank you.
There you go.
Which is this guy right here. A little bit bigger. And we can actually see it has a 5-pin input and a little button to go in and out. Here's the pack. Now there's going to be different sizes of these packs, even for the same brand. And it just depends on usually how the newer stuff has a lot smaller equipment. And we can see those pins right there. And for this specific one, you line up the little black dot, which is right there, to the top. And then you always listen for the click. And that actually locks into place. Where the Sony was a little twist, this is a little button lock. And you just push it to release it, just like that. There are actually different microphones that we'll show a little bit later that actually has a really cool feature of being able to quickly swap the different types of terminations, which is a newer thing. Before, you would actually have to send that wire out to a shop, have it chopped, and then you can put a new termination on it if you maybe upgrade your wires or just change systems altogether. But like I said, technology is actually making it a lot easier, which is really fun.
I did that very same thing with this Countryman B3. I literally it was terminated with a 3.5 1/8-inch mini for like a Sennheiser, and I wanted to be able to use it in a 5-pin electro. So I called up Countryman. I said, can you re-terminate this for Electrosonics? And they said, sure. So I think it cost me like $40 plus shipping for them to re-terminate it. And now I can use it in Electro system.
And then the only thing to worry about, not worry, but just be aware of that. Every time they have to replace this, terminal, they're chopping more and more up the wire. So you don't have an infinite amount of times. Eventually you'll get too short to actually use the wire, but you can do it. Like, just say you're hoping to invest in something like a Sennheiser G3 or a Raut system. And then you're like, but I want to upgrade eventually to a Sony. It's not that hard to do that upgrade.
Why don't we show them what you started talking about the capsules, because the capsule size and shape are really important in how we're able to hide the mic. So Alan started by showing the Sony capsule, and I'm going to take this mount off here so we can get a better idea. So you can see it is, give us a little contrast. So you can see that's pretty big, pretty chunky. Then you have the Countryman B3, which is this guy right here. And you know what's interesting about this capsule is that it has these little covers that you can put on them to change the equalization curve or frequency response of the mic. I think this one is set for a high frequency boost. And we're going to talk about that, the brightness of the mic in a moment, because that plays into the sound quality when we begin to hide the mic. We have our ubiquitous, I want to say COS 11, which is one of the industry standards. Randy, can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's relatively small, but the capsule is fairly long.
The only catch with this guy is it is a very directional mic. So whenever you're laving it, that needs to be pointed in the right direction. That's the caveat.
And that's a big deal when you're, let's say when you're doing interviews. For instance, if we were interviewing each other or had lavs on, we would want this lav mounted to this side because that's where we're looking.
Correct.
It would not work to have this mic mounted on this side when we're talking like that in this direction. Okay.
And honestly, again, we said that's a caveat. That can also be a plus. If you're in an environment that's maybe a little noisier, it's going to do a really good job rejecting a lot of that extra noise.
Now, this is the Rode broadcaster mic. The Rode broadcaster. Now, what's interesting about this Rode system is Alan was talking before about the termination to go into other wireless systems. This is the same Rode broadcaster mic, but you can see it has an adapter on the end in order to go into a Sony wireless system. They have them for Audio-Technica, as well as Sennheiser. So you can buy one microphone, but have a series of these adapters to adapt them. And what is really cool is that they have an XLR adapter as well. So if you are doing, let's say, for instance, you were having a lot of RF problems in your area, or you couldn't find an clean open frequency, and you had one of these, and it was just a simple sit down interview kind of thing, you could actually go to your mixer via XLR and it'd be super clean, not a problem. So that's the cool aspect of the Rode system is the ability to change the adapters. So now let's talk about what interests me all the time are the various accessories or tapes, softies, stickies, that we use to actually mount the mic. So let's show you a few, and then we're just going to dig into wiring. So one of the big things we have are these, we have to be able to adhese, whether it be with tape or a sticky that we can actually, this is a two-sided Raut circular sticky with a hole in it. We're going to show you how we use that hole in a minute, but it's double-sided. We have things like moleskin. Okay, this is your typical moleskin you can buy at CVS or Walgreens. Then it has a sticky back. I have a really cool hack to show you on using these. Here's Dr. Scholl's corn, pads. Why don't you show them a couple more of these things, because we've got some really cool.
Oh, let's show the top stick.
Oh, you want to show top stick?
Yeah.
Okay. We use a ton of top stick. Okay. Top stick is what we refer to as men's grooming tape for hair pieces. We've also seen this branded as wardrobe malfunction tape. Okay. It's super sticky. It's double-sided, and you simply you can peel the back off, but on the other side, it's actually split. It's actually split to help you, pull the tape off to to stick it. It's very, very, very useful full tape.
I can go into this now.
Yeah, go into that.
Yeah, so here Andy has it really nicely organized. You can see the different labeling here. But every single mic is, again, the different types of sizes. So we have, I think this is for the COS. We have a little rubber mount here.
Where's the COS? It's right here. Show them how that
Yeah, let's do it.
mounts up. Oh, here, hold on.
Yep, go ahead.
Let's take these. This is a really cool rubber mounting system from a company called Bumblebee. Now, we're going to be showing you a lot of stuff tonight that we're going to put together a sheet with all these links on them to the manufacturers, and we will post that on Full Sail One. Okay, so they have a lot of these metal clips that go into the rubber. So let's take those out, and then it's actually really easy to mount. You want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, here, let's get that up. Okay, so here's the back of the mount, and you kind of pinch it and open it up like so. Then the microphone slides in. And there you go. Randy, can you get in on that? Okay, so if you turn it around, you can see the backside like that. Then what we do after that is we take one of these stickies designed for this. Oh, let's see here. Designed for this mount. Okay. And it sticks to the back like that. And now we're ready. Now we're ready to mount that. Okay, so that's one mount. What else do we have in there?
A very similar one, which again, same kind of concept, is the trusty RM11. Same type of rubber mount, but we have a end where we can go straight in. So it's kind of a cubby, just like that. And we also have an open side. So if we need to do any sort of like windscreen or just need to have the mic showing for whatever reason, you just have two of those sides. We talked about a little bit of not danger, but something to be aware of, and that's our trusty vampire clip. So this is a very simple design. Our COS goes right into the middle right there. The microphone will be poking right out the top. And then using these little metal prongs will actually catch into the fabric of a shirt, just like that, and it sticks. Now, of course, using things like strain relief, so you don't hear that tugging or that fabric pulling, is always going to be needed. And again, we need to make sure that our talent is very, very aware that this is on them, so they don't accidentally go and prod inside of their shirt and accidentally prick their fingers. And my advice is never use this for kids, because of course they're going to be running around, they're going to be jumping, they're going to be having fun when you can't see them, and we don't want anywhere near that.
So let's see, what else do we have? The other various companies, Ursa Strap, Bumblebee, Viviana, they're great companies that offer all sorts of, or their version of lav mounts. Okay, this is a smooth plastic mount, which is really good when fabric ends up rubbing against it, and the lav just presses in. Like so. Hold on, Randy. Like so. There you go. See that? All right. Now let's talk about some other. We have some other really cool things, like we have these softies. Now you've seen the softy we put on like a shotgun mic on a boom. It's, it's about yay big and it's all furry. And these are designed for lav mics, and they come in different colors. Skin tone, white, black. Here's one. Here's a big one.
That's an extreme one.
This is an extreme one where if you, let's say you're out in a convertible, let's say you're just doing a show, and it doesn't matter if we see the mic, it's probably more important we get good quality usable audio. So this one is actually designed for the Rode mic right here. All right. And then all you're going to do, here's the back, the hole. We're just going to put that in there like so.
And then wind is one of those things with sound where as soon as you hear any sort of wind hitting that capsule, either it be a lav or a shotgun, there's no getting rid of that. So that's why we need some of these extreme solutions for that wind.
Right. So let's talk about some stickies.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to show you just a basic. We're going to use one of these Raut circular stickies. We're going to use one from Ursa. They have their own version. We have stickies from Raut. Okay. So I'm going to show you something pretty cool here. And then we're going to actually get to some wiring. So we're going to take one side off. Okay. And then we're going to take the other one, the other Ursa one, like so. And here's the sticky side right there. And I'm literally going to put sticky to sticky side to sticky side. Before I do that, actually, we're going to put a lav in there first. So if you can see this, I'm going to take this lav and I'm going to stick it right there. See that? And then I'm going to take the Raut circular one with the hole in it, and I'm going to put that. Well, it's very sticky. All right, so there, that'll work like so. All right, see that? Now what we're going to do, we're going to take the Raut sticky side off, and we're going to take one of these. You know what? We showed these with that. I'm going to show one of these skin tone covers right here. This is just a stretchy piece of fabric. It's going to provide some really nice wind protection. And then I'm going to stick this on top like so. See that? And then we'll take the other side off. See that? That's the other sticky side. Now, what's nice about this, we're going to mount this on, we're going to stick this to my shirt. And what is the sticky part, because it's solid, is going to add some additional, wind protection. So I would simply drop this down like so, and simply take my shirt, hold that down.
Got you. Yep, gotcha.
And we're going to go inside the shirt like so. All right. Now I probably would be a little more particular about where I'm mounting. I'm just showing you how it mounts like so. Okay. Now, because that sticky, now this is what because, well, I guess if I had some more natural wrinkles in it, you wouldn't really see the mic, which is right there, which is a result of how I actually put it on. But now I have it is basically mounted under my shirt. The solid Ursa sticky creates extra wind protection. So wind that would be coming through my shirt doesn't hit the capsule. All right, so.
And this is a good time to say laving is never a guarantee. We talked about needing to know that wardrobe constantly. Maybe if they have a tighter shirt that we start seeing that type of, sticky on the shirt, we might need to go directly to the skin instead. And it's just playing the game of what are we actually, who are we wiring, and what are they wearing? What do they wire?
Oh, yeah. Having any preliminary information about wardrobe and what's going to happen in the scene when we're actually spotting the script and figuring out how many wireless systems and mics and all that, any of that information is very helpful to us in making sure that we have all the proper lavs and wind protection. So, there you go. All right. So, why don't we just get started actually wiring?
Let's do it.
All right. So, one of the things that we think that's very important in these Zooms is that you get to hear the lavs. We can show you all day long where to mount things, but there's nothing like actually hearing it. So what we're going to do, for starters, we're just going to do a straight open air where we see the mic with your ubiquitous alligator clip, which I'll show you here in a minute. And then we're going to use that as our baseline before we start hiding the mic, because we talked about seeing the mic versus hiding it. So, Alan,
yep.
Which mic would you like to use?
We can use the Sony, or we could use the Raut. I don't mind either way.
You want to build up to the COS 11?
Yes, let's build up. Yeah, let's use a Raut.
Okay.
So, there we are in there.
Oh, so we're going to start with the Sony?
Yes, my bad.
Oh, you know what? Let me, this always hangs me up. You know, there's a, based on where you're going to clip this, you know, I always have to think of which direction I get it in, you know. So when I loop the wire through and I actually clip it on my shirt, it lays properly. So so what I like to do first is, you can see that it's the alligator. That's why we call it an alligator clip. Okay. So what we're going to do, if I know that this is going to slide in, if this is going to slide into my shirt like so, then what I'm going to do first is I'm going to bring the capsule up through the mount and clip it in. That way, when I put it in my shirt, the cable's gonna go down properly. You want to finish her off?
Yes, of course. These also always have, if we can see right here, a little kind of indent right there, where we can create a nice little loop, something like that. We can always go neater, of course. But this is going to give us a little bit of strain relief for our actual wire, because the last thing, again, we want to do is cause any sort of damage. So Andy, let's do some make-believe. Let's act like I am meeting you for the very first time. And I am our sound guy, and Andy is our talent. Let's begin. Hello, my name is Alan. I'm great to meet you. I'm going to be your sound engineer, and I'm going to be putting this wire on you.
Oh man, do I have to deal with?
You have to deal with me. I'm sorry.
Okay,
but that's okay.
All right, just wire me up.
Okay, cool. So what we're going to do today is clip this about right here. Okay. And this is going to come right down your shirt, and we're going to put a belt pack right on the back. If you feel uncomfortable in any way, things poking you, please let me know. We'll get it fixed. So I'm going to give you this end. And if you don't mind,
what do I do with that?
You're going to go ahead and drop this right down the front of your shirt. Yep, that's perfect. Yep. And if you wouldn't mind, just so I don't have to reach up, if you can grab it, it's going to come out right on that end.
Right here?
Yep.
Okay, like so?
That is perfect.
All right, there you go.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so what now?
So I'm just going to clip this. If you can stay right there for me. Thank you so very much. Clip this right on your shirt. Don't mind me.
I won't.
Thank you. Perfect.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That looks great. Check that out, guys.
And pardon my reach, sir. This
Well
is going
done.
to clip right to the back of your belt.
Okay.
And if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and give me a mic check. If you can face straight forward and just
Okay, this
say
is a mic check. What are you doing?
A
Are
little
you
bit more.
checking the sensitivity of the,
yep, we are
the
just
mic?
setting the gain to it right now just to make sure we have a solid level. So
Okay,
if you can keep
Do
facing
you,
forward.
do you want me to talk at a normal level, like I'm
Exactly.
going to be delivering my lines?
Exactly. If you know your lines, or you can just talk about maybe what you had for lunch today.
What did I have for lunch?
Yeah, please.
I had an egg salad sandwich,
Okay.
some milk,
Milk. Perfect.
some fruit.
Awesome.
Cool. How's
Perfect.
that level?
That is perfect.
Right?
So go ahead and feel for me. Does that feel any poking, prodding, uncomfortable in any way? Yeah.
No, it's good.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Once you sit
So-
down, please let me know and we'll get it fixed as soon as possible. We're going to do a rehearsal right before a take, and I'll get some levels. So I might have to adjust a little bit more,
Okay.
but you should be good to go.
Okay. Can you get some levels?
No, I'll have to go to my bag. So let me go do that right now.
Okay, go do that right. Go do that right now.
Perfect.
Is the wireless turned on?
Now it is.
Thank you. So Alan just turned on the pack because these packs eat up batteries. So it's very important when we're not shooting, or if there's going to be some downtime, we want to conserve batteries. So do you have the microphone up?
You're ready. Here we go. Coming up.
Okay, coming up. Check you 1, 2. So we are, this is the DC Live from the Hive Audio Series, part 2 of wireless audio, improving your production audio through the use of wiring. So we are, we're talking wireless.
Yeah, we are.
We are going through lavs. We're going through all the sticky tapes and all of that. But right now, what you're hearing is simply just a B flat open air mount.
Yeah.
Pretty much it's the simplest thing that you can do. Now, with that being said, check this out. We see this a lot, okay? Hold on, wait, I got to get the right orientation. We see this a lot, guys. Don't be that person where we see a wire just dangling down. It takes no time or work at all to drop the wire down inside the garment and then bringing it back to plug into. Oh, Randy wanted me to talk about all the YouTube influencers who are doing this. Okay, is that a good shot, Randy?
Yeah.
Or actually I don't have a softy big enough, but usually it has one of these softies on it. So it's like that. So that's not what we do. We talked about that last month in part 1. Okay. All right. So that's just your basic wire. Okay. And if you're doing documentary, news, whatever, sit down interviews, it's okay to do it this way. Just make sure you hide the wire. Okay.
I'm switching you back to a boom right now.
Back to a boom.
Back to boom.
Okay.
Wanna?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna.
A quick question, do you always have to go down the front?
So actually, no. It's usually the easiest of the solutions just because it's plop right
I'm
down
gonna
there.
just rip that off.
No, please, sir. Let me help you.
Okay, help me.
Thank you so much.
Help
sir.
help me find boom utility, dude.
Pardon my reach.
Now, did you pull that up?
It's off.
Yeah, but let me show you something. You
Tell
saw
me.
me do this before. I'm just gonna, we're gonna leave that on there,
Okay.
right? I'm just gonna use just one of these. Okay, so we've done this. All right. Always when you drop this, always ask the talent to hand it to you. You don't want to go up their wardrobe. Okay, so here's the thing. The capsule is the business end of this lob, not the connection. So if this breaks, you know, if it's going to break, it's better to break it at the connector because you can ship it back to have it re-terminated. But if the capsule is damaged because the capsule is damaged because the talent pulls it down, like so. And heaven forbid you should have a vampire clip on this where it could gouge into their skin. What you want to do is you're going to remove the connector from the pack, take all the tape off the actor, and then you want to pull it up through the top. So if it gets hung up on, oh, nice nuts, Alan.
You have
Love
that
it.
one, good sir.
Oh, so you're blaming me for the
Never,
nuts.
never.
If you want to pull it up from the top, okay, and you can actually, what I do when I pull it, hold this for me.
Yep, gotcha.
When I pull it up from the top, I try to wrap it as I'm going along, as I'm pulling it up, so it's not like, I get to a point where it's okay, I can pull it out and it's not gonna, dangle on the floor. Okay, so.
Well, let's go back to the question real fast too. So down the front, usually more the easiest way. But if we maybe have a tighter shirt, maybe we have a talent that has a cutoff on the stomach. We can also come around the shoulder.
Yeah.
And drop right down the back. I've done many times where maybe this little pack has to sit on the back of the bra strap of the talent.
Oh, we haven't even begun to talk about where you're going to actually mount the pack. We have your obligatory, if you're wearing pants, just stick it in the pocket, put it on the belt. I prefer putting it inside, inside the belt instead of on the outside of the belt. But yeah, we have things like waist straps where we open this up. There's a little compartment to drop the transmitter in. So
And, that one's actually then the smaller one is meant for an ankle strap. So again, sometimes we don't have anywhere here to put that wire. So
Right.
that wire is usually long enough to go all the way down a pant leg. And again, have to have jeans or something like that and strap directly to the ankle instead.
The Sanken, the Countrymen typically have a lot longer cables than the stock mics that come with the systems. So let's get to some actual wiring where we're having to hide it.
Let's do it.
So what do you want to do?
Yeah.
You want to do the polo?
Yeah, let's start with the polo. We
Okay.
can show off maybe some of the RM11 or something like
You want
that.
to do an RM11?
Yeah, let's do that.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Okay. Mount her up.
A lot of this stuff, and again, it depends on exactly what you're doing, but sometimes, putting tape on top of tape might take a minute or two, usually longer than you think. So whenever you're doing this type of stuff, try to have it prepped before you go up and address talent and say, I'm about to wire you, because if you go up, hey, my name's Alan, blah, 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 and then they're sitting there, watch you put tape everywhere for 2 minutes, they're going to be like, are you going to do this yet? Like, what's going on?
Right.
So try to have as much of this done.
Yeah,
as possible.
that's a fantastic point to be prepared. With both Alan and I carry a bag that has all our tools if we need to pull scissors out or tweakers to adjust levels or frequencies, because there are some transmitters where you have to actually go inside. They're not cool button displays, but yeah, be prepared, be ready to put that mic on them.
So let's start with our CS11. We have our RM11, which is going to go just like that, peeking out slightly at the top. And I'm going to use this time our little Raut double sticky. I'm just going to go on the inside, just like that. Make sure it's nice and stuck. And that's pretty much prepped. Again, try to wait to remove this side of the sticky until we're actually going to get it on the talent. But this is a really good thing. Like I can do, just say I'm wiring 3 talent. I can prep a bunch of these, have it sitting in my little utility bag, walk up to your talent, start dropping it down, and then we can, remove this side to actually adhese it to the talent.
Okay, so you're doing a COS11.
Yep.
And we're going to use a electro.
Let's do it.
We're going to use a different system on this one. It's the Electrosonic SM transmitter and the UCR 411. Okay, so
So this is day 2 of our shoot now. So maybe we're
So I like you now?
maybe a little more familiar. Maybe you're still annoyed that I did some stuff to you yesterday, but you've forgiven me because you've had your coffee. You're like, yeah,
Okay.
he's just a goofy kid.
I'm less annoyed by
Exactly.
you now. Okay. So where are you gonna mount that?
So we're gonna mount this hopefully right below the second button.
Are you talking in here?
Yes, correct.
So here's the second button. He's gonna mount that right there.
So this is a really great time for me to ignore Andy and talk to you, the audience. When we're talking about this loft position, there is a specific place we want to put this. If we go too close to the throat, we're actually going to start hearing a lot of those noises. We're going to hear just the weird sounds that it makes. If we start getting a little too far down, we're going to have to bump that gain up a lot more, which means we're going to hear a lot more room noise. This is actually a really great place to hear it. Not only are we getting the voice, coming from the mouth, but we're also getting a little bit of that reverb coming from the center of your chest.
Yeah, nice chest resonance.
Which we need with a lav, because a lot of the time that's what a lav is missing, is that type of sound. That's
absolutely, because with the boom mic, which has a much larger diaphragm and has a wider frequency response for the low frequencies, lavs tend to not go down that far to pick up the natural resonance of male voice, which is somewhere down around 500, and that area females are more like in the 900 hertz. So continue.
Hello, sir. Great to see you again. Hope you're having a great day.
I'm having a wonderful day.
Perfect to hear. I'm going to do this right here for today.
Drop that down.
Drop it right down the front.
Cool.
Appreciate that. I'll take that from you.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay.
And today we're actually going to go in between your 2 buttons.
Okay. Now, are you going to mount that on this part of the shirt or this part?
Today I'm going to do this part because I'm afraid of our little sticky showing up a little indent on the outer of the shirt.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to avoid seeing that little indent by going right.
Yeah. Let's
there. Yeah.
Okay. So if you can see that. All right. Now, when you button it up, really don't see it.
Now, laving is, I wouldn't say a guessing game, but sometimes you do things and it just doesn't work. So you might have to stick it here, and maybe we're seeing a little bit of that black rubber, or maybe we are seeing an indent because it's a tighter shirt today. We might have to do it again. That's just the game of laving.
But here's the thing. If I am not performing and doing what I need to be doing, and the audience sees that lav, then I'm pretty much not doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's true. Yeah. And we always want to do our best job, but it's the classic kind of continuity thing. If we're paying attention to a water bottle at the very edge of screen, we're not doing our job to begin with.
Now, I think one of the most egregious times where we see a lav, it's when we use a black lav and wire, and we have a thinner white shirt where we can actually see. So believe it or not, all these lavs you can buy either in white, skin tone, or black. Now it gets a little expensive, but you're covered. So what are we doing now?
So next we're going to get our pack right here.
Yep.
Remember, today we are using the Electro. So we want to make sure that this connection is making a good connection and we're hearing the click. If we don't hear that click, this could cause static. So be careful of that.
Or it could come out.
X 100%. And then that's
Okay,
going to
so
be
what are you
that
going to
thing.
do?
Don't mind me, sir. I'm going to clip this right to the back of your belt.
Yep. And typically we'll take all the excess cable, coil it up, and stick it down, in the belt. We would probably put some medical transport tape, because that's what we use for IVs. It's super sticky. And it works pretty well. All right. I can already see level over there. Fantastic. So you want to bring that up?
Yep.
Let's listen.
Back.
All right. So now.
Wire is up, boom is down.
Okay. So now we are listening to the COS 11 with the Electrosonics 411 and SM transmitter rig. Now, when we started, we were listening to an open air microphone. Now I want you to listen to what it sounds like where the microphone is hidden. And please understand that every time you add a layer of clothing, it's going to tend to muffle the sound or knock down the high frequency content of the signal. Now, I believe, Alan, did you mention about we were talking about the frequency response earlier, were we not?
Yeah, a little bit with with the Countryman.
Oh, that's right. With the Countryman, with the capsule covers. Now, we could do a mic shootout. We could very well do that if we just held the microphones up. And what I want you to listen to is the COS 11 tends to be a lot brighter than all of the microphones. And that was engineered into the design. And it was very intentional because it boosts the high frequencies back to where they need to be once you've covered them. So
we want to do a little test between the two.
Sure, let's do that.
Yeah.
So do you want to do the mixing thing that we talked about?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so this is we're going to take a little detour for the moment, and we're going to talk about mixing the boom versus the lav. And I want to really drive this home that if you have a boom mic and a lav mic, they should be assigned to different tracks on your camera. The boom should be on track 1, channel 1. The lav should be on channel 2, okay? Because you've been listening to the COS 11 hidden right there. So let's go back to the boom so you can hear what an open air boom sounds like.
Boom is up.
Boom is up. Okay, so here we are. We're doing a microphone. We're doing a comparison between the open air boom mic, and now bring up the lav. Okay, and the boom down.
Yep.
So now we're just listening to the lav. Okay, there should be a pretty marked difference between the sound. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to bring that boom and the lav up together and see if you can hear some weirdness in that mix when we're combining the lav mic with the boom. So let me tell you what's going on. The time difference, I'm going to kind of geek out physics with you here for a moment. The distance between my voice and this lav is this close. So the time between when my voice reaches this lav is going to be a lot quicker than when my voice reaches the boom mic. So when we mix those together, those time differences can create some anomalies in the sound that are pretty difficult to fix in post if you mix them together. Are we starting to?
Yeah.
You're hearing that kind of comb filter phasing effect. Okay, so in the end, when we're in post and when we're mixing these, it's really interesting because we listen and we might use both signals at the time, but they're not up at the same level. So there might be a situation where we prioritize the boom, but then another situation might be there might be a lot of noise or a lot of wind or a lot of, so we have to prioritize the lav, but never are they at the same level. So because right now we're mixing in mono, we're not mixing in stereo, but in post, pretty much all the dialogue is coming out of your center channel anyway. So it's pretty much mono to start. So that's a very important thing to realize. Boom on channel 1, lav on channel 2, and you'll be good if you and so you can mix those in post. So cool. Let's do a couple more mounting scenarios. Mike, how are we doing on time?
It is currently 8 o'clock.
Oh my gosh.
Time flew.
Can we wrap this up in the next 15, 20 minutes? Is that good? Of course we can.
I think we can do this. I don't have any problem with staying for another 15 minutes.
I don't know. Ron, do you have a problem with that?
I gotta use the bathroom.
The opinions of
Okay,
Professor
so,
Ronald Dilts are not
um,
those of the rest of the talent here on stage.
Okay, let's do a couple, just, we're probably not going to get too fancy with the wiring on just, whoops. Did you get that on camera? Oh my gosh. I blame you,
Tell me
Alan.
about
Yeah,
that. Yes,
this
I
is
understand.
what happens when
Oh.
your utility
Gosh.
doesn't pick up.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll pick up this up later.
Like,
Oh my
so-
gosh. Okay, oh well,
Wait. Okay, waiting on sound.
now we are.
So-
Okay, let's just do a simple hat rig. Okay, this is.
Do you want to do
is-
this one? I'll wear the hat. Or do you want me to wear it?
How do you want to do it? You want to put the mic coming down like that?
Yeah, I like it.
You like it? Okay, well, why don't we use a Rode and a, okay, so this is super easy, guys.
I'll get this off.
We're just gonna really, here. Put the mic right there. You might think you could put it there, but we may see it. Okay, so we'll just put a, what kind of tape do we want to
Here, let me
use?
just get this off you real fast.
Okay.
Boop, 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 boop.
Oh, man,
Free.
party foul. All right,
Can I ask a question?
yes,
sir?
you may.
What would you do professionally if that happened in front of the actual talent?
Well, first off, it wouldn't happen in the actual talent because I wouldn't be taking this big box up to them. I would have prepared.
My personal would be make sure everyone's okay, apologize, and then make some sort of joke about it, because comedy is always the answer.
Comedy.
Unless they're very, very stern and they're just looking at you dead eye, then you have to read the room and just know, I'm gonna slowly go away.
Dang. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's mount this thing up.
Do it.
So what kind of tapes do we want to use?
We can use some,
Do you have any?
I have some surgical.
Yeah, give me
Yeah.
some surgical tape.
Andy, I lied to you. I don't have surgical tape.
Oh my gosh.
We use some
Okay.
top stick.
Yeah, let's use some top stick. All right. I did this wrong.
Suppose the slapstick is what we've been getting.
Why, thank you, Mike. Okay, where's the mic?
Which one you want to use?
So-
The Road?
Yeah, just
Yep,
use the Rode.
perfect.
So while we getting that ready, quick question, would a wig work the same way?
A wig, you'll want to bring you'll probably want to find a smaller capsule, like a Countryman B6, which is like half the size. It's like half the size of a B3, and bring it up through the hairline and drop it like right there. Or it can come in from the side, and then you have to, bring the hair up, use bobby pins to pin the wire down, and then just drop the wig over it. Right. Okay, put that in there. All right. So for this, I'm more concerned with showing you how it sounds more so than, because we wouldn't be using white tape. We'd probably be using transparent tape. Now, regarding the wire, you could bring it inside the band, like so, tape it with some medical tape and call it a day. And then depending on where the camera was going to be, that'll tell you where you're going to run the wire.
And then this would also be where you would have the specific type of wiring to match the skin tone of your talent. That would help a lot.
That
too.
would, yes, that would help. Now, let's, okay, so I'm just gonna hold this.
Yep.
This is more now, just so you can hear what it sounds like.
Much of you?
Yeah.
What about the type of mic for doing the hats? Does
That-
that matter? Directional, omnidirectional.
Well, the mic is right there. So wherever your head moves, the mic's going to go with you. So you could use a cardioid lav like the COS 11 or the, you know, it really just depends, because if you have when we talk about polar patterns, which I believe we talked about in the shotgun, zoom buzz, with the lavs, we still have cardioid or directional mics, or omnidirectional, which will pick up all around. So if in this situation where the microphone is moving with the actor, it's easier to contain the polar pattern and the directionality of the pickup pattern. So how does that sound?
Yeah, sound good.
Now I'm moving around, right? Do we hear any noise? Because I don't have any headphones on. It sounds good?
Yeah, sounds good. And like you
Okay.
said, let me come over so everyone can hear me. And like you said, a benefit of this type of rig is that is following you, where if
Right.
we had it on either side of the shoulder, we would lose as we move to the opposite side.
Oh, this is super cool. Now I'll be very gentle with these glasses, because these are, probably worth more than every camera in this room, courtesy of Randy Baker. Now,
So basically,
this
the
is
camera guy is blind because he's got
now he's
his
blind.
glasses.
Okay, so we could easily, if we needed to, take this lav. Now, this is still probably too big for even these larger earpieces, but we could get some tape, and it would tape right by the temple of this earpiece right there. Now, this is probably a candidate for what, like a B6, a much smaller capsule. Okay, but yeah, the iRig is very, very common. Here you go, Randy. Now you can see again.
Want to turn on the boom here real fast?
Yeah. So
I think if we want to do any other one, I would recommend doing the tie one.
The
That's such a
tie?
common one. Yeah.
Yep, let's do a tie rig.
Got that?
Yeah, let's take that off. Got it?
Yep, got it.
All right.
Perfect. I'll
Excellent.
give that to you.
Thank you.
Can I get mine as a pad tie rig?
A what?
Pad tie rig?
Yeah, we'll take all these wires and put some peanut sauce on it and all of that. Okay.
Recipes on Thai food with audio. Tune into a future episode of the DC Buzz.
Okay, so here,
Yep.
hold that for me.
Gotcha.
Because we want to show how we wire up through that hole. Let's get put this over my. Okay. Yeah, one moment here. All right. So this is going to be just a pretty straight ahead tie rig. All right. Now remember this hole right here. Okay. Put that on. What's that, Alan?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
All right. So now we're going to do the tie rig. So here we go.
Let's
So
use
how
the
do you
Raut.
want to use a road?
Yeah, which one is? Yeah, this one's good.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to run the wire for us.
Go ahead.
Okay, so now there are a couple ways to wire this tie. And Alan's going to show you the path the wire is going to take. But I'm going to take this button right here, okay, and we're going to undo it. And then I'm going to run this wire up through the shirt. I'm going to bring it through. Oh, come on. Bring it through the buttonhole like so. See that? And I'm going to button this up. All right, so there we go. So, all right, Alan, take her away.
Perfect. So our ultimate goal is one of two things. We either want, if you can face that guy right there, we either want the microphone to be facing down like this. This usually gives you a little bit more rubbing. So you would have to throw something like an RM11 or some sort of foam to keep it from.
Well, unfortunately, all my foams are on the floor right now.
But we have the other alternative, which is having our wire come up just like that instead. So what we always want to do is come from the back, and we're looking for the hole, which is of course naturally in the tie, which is going to be over on this side. We're going to come up. Find it just like there. And then get rid of a little of that slack. Perfect. We're going to cause a little bit of a bend. To give a little bit of strain relief. We never want to hear this wire as our talent is shifting back and forth. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of strain on here, and we don't want to start hearing that. So we gave a little bit of a bend. I can show that again, just like that. Down, and as close as we can. Right there, of course, we're seeing it start to peak. So just go a little bit more down where we don't see it anymore.
Are you miking it from where the capsule is pointing up?
Correct.
Okay.
Tighten it up a little bit, just like that.
So let's give a
And-
listen.
Turn on our pack.
Probably could have left that.
No, that I switched. That
Oh,
battery
you
was
did?
dying.
Oh, it was? Did you hear the click?
Yes, I did. I heard that click.
Okay.
Good to go.
All right. So here we go. Here's the tie rig. So Alan did an amazing job of wiring up my tie. Looks good, but does it sound good?
Sounds pretty good.
Sounds really good. Okay, so if I were to be walking around and having my scene, you know, one of the big things after we wire, we want to test it. So we just have the actor walk around, kind of move a little bit just to make sure we're not getting, you know, any clothing rustle. That is one of the, after we hide the mic, which really, in the end, that's the easy part. But finding a place to mount the microphone where we're not getting clothing rustle, that's always the challenge.
100%. And again, that
For
might
me.
take a time or two and might take some maneuvering.
Yeah.
A funny story I have with this specific type of mount. The bane of its existence is someone with a really big beard.
Oh
Because
my
they love
gosh.
to go down and you hear all of that. So
Yeah,
if you see someone with a bigger beard with a tie rig, you might have to think of another solution.
right. So,
Let me switch it back.
okay, you know, I was so excited to bring this barbecue apron in. Here, you want to take
Yeah, I
that?
gotcha.
I really want to show you something really cool that is great for overalls or different kinds of wardrobe. Yeah,
Almost there. Get this. Let's
Okay.
practice what we preach.
that's right.
Yeah, I'd like
Yeah.
to point out that exactly what you're seeing is how it would be done professionally, how Alan's treating
Yep.
everything. This is not just us doing this. This is how we would be
Yeah.
behaving on the set.
This is how, this literally is how we do it. Where was that? Oh, I was gonna make one. That's what I was gonna do. Okay, so, Alan,
Yeah.
You want to wear
I will wear
you
the
wear that?
amazing apron. I love it so much.
All right. Okay, you wear the apron. All right, so this is something that I saw on I think it was either Ursa straps or one of the three manufacturers. They have these, it's called the Moleskin Extreme. And really what it is a piece of moleskin about an inch wide and maybe about 3 inches long. Okay. But what they did is they took the back off, on the sticky side, and they put a wire in it. So I thought, I would try my hand at actually making one. So I went to Walmart and I went to the crafting section and found this 18 gauge DIY wire, and I got some. It's very easy to cut and bend. So I cut a piece like so, and I put it in this moleskin like so. See that? Okay, so now what we're going to do, let's see, what mic do we want to use? Let's just use, let's use the COS 11, which actually has the RM11 mount on it with a sticky. So what we will do is we'll take this mount here and I'm going to stick it on the moleskin like so, except for the fact that it won't stay. So we're going to do this. All right. Again, I'm just using this just to show that we would tape over that. Now, what's cool about this is once we drop this down, okay, you get that for me?
Yep.
And the whole thing about getting a good wiring placement is to create an air cavity around the mic. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take the, come up here, Alan.
Yep.
So we're going to take this and we're going to tape it inside the apron like so. See that? And then we're going to use the wire to bend, to support the fabric and bend it. So now there's an air cavity between the apron and Alan.
Yep.
So
I
let's
got
see.
this.
You got it?
I got that. I'm plugged in.
Which one are we?
It should be LCOS.
All right.
And there you go. Now I'm talking. Again, making sure that cavity is there. Let's do a little bit of movement, acting like I'm having fun cooking it up.
Making barbecue.
Making that sauce, making that dry rub. So excited for this amazing barbecue that's just not going to exist. I'm sorry. How's
no
we sound?
barbecue for you.
How we sounding? Pretty decent?
good?
Pretty decent.
All right, Alan, any thoughts?
I think the only other one would be always be careful, and it's very easy to do. You're in the heat of the moment. Your second AD comes up to you and says, hey, here's 5 talent. We need them logged in 5 minutes. And you need to let them know, listen, I want to do this with you with all my heart. Give them a realistic time, add a minute to it. That's always the role. Maybe
Okay.
add 2 minutes to it.
All right.
So then whenever you come up early, you look like a hero. That's always the goal. But let them know, hey, it's going to take me a little bit of time, and say for these 3 people, they're wearing a button-up shirt. That's why it's not going to take me much time in them. This person's wearing a dress. So give them a rundown, understand that,
Right.
and then do a good job. Don't beat yourself up that it's not as fast as they want, because of course they want it faster. That's their job. Their job is to get it done as fast as possible, because maybe lighting team is a little behind, or maybe the talent's flight didn't land on time. So never take it personally. Just do the best job you can, get it done, and still take care of your gear. That's always key to
And
it.
again, preparation is everything.
Yeah.
Preparing all your transmitters, have all your tapes, have all of the lavs ready to mount.
Oop.
And
They cut out.
what?
I think my
Oh, you know what?
computer is losing some power.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's go back to the boom. So yeah, the whole preparation thing is super important. And unfortunately, it's a hurry up
Yep.
kind of thing, not hurry up and wait.
You're usually the last one on the list to be able to
Yes.
get you to do your job. You're
Yep.
waiting for everyone.
Yeah, pretty
and then-
much.
And then when everyone else is ready to go, that's when it's time to do your job.
Yeah.
Another.
And,
go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, we were talking earlier, not in the Zoom, but when to call cut.
Mhm.
This is an important thing because your job is to provide the best quality sound. And it's easy to call cut. Well, I heard some clothing rustle, cut, and then I got to go fix this. But then you have to really kind of do this kind of thing. If an actor is really into their performance
Mhm.
and they're really delivering it, you don't want to cut in the middle of that, because the chances are the director is going to be a little upset with you. So let the actors finish out their scene before you go in and adjust something. And then on top of that, listen for if we hear clothing rustle or we take an RF hit, is it on top of dialogue?
Mhm.
Is that rustling while they're delivering a line versus in between lines?
Yep.
If that rustling or hits happen in between dialogue, we can clean that out and fix that in post. So the more you grow with this and do more wiring and do more of these jobs, be it talking head documentary or a narrative project
Mhm.
with multiple actors and this and that, you'll get more proficient and have a little more wisdom of knowing when to call cut and what is egregious and what isn't. I mean, granted, we have some amazing plugins, such as Isotope RX and the AI plugins that are coming on the scene, but that using those is predicated on working with an audio post person who has them versus you trying to do it on your own. So you still want to strive for the best quality audio that you can, because you might not have it in the budget and the time, or who you're working with has the expertise to use those plugins. So that's
Yep.
pretty much what I have to say about it. And both Alan and I can tell you, when we first started our journey of production audio, wireless wiring people was, I didn't like it. I didn't feel really comfortable with it
I completely agree.
for a number of reasons, not just being in the personal space of that person, but making sure that I got a good wire.
Mhm.
Now, a lot of those trepidations for me really was back in the day when we were doing film. And, when we were shooting film, it's very costly and all of that. We won't go into that, but you didn't want to be the one to blow the take, but now, where we're shooting, digitally on cards and this and that, it's not catastrophic, but you still want to strive for good audio. And I'll tell you where that's going to come back to haunt you is in dailies. When directors and producers are watching the dailies and they're deciding on which takes to use and this and that, if they hear a lot of bad audio that keeps them from making good decisions and they're starting to think, oh my gosh, I got to spend a lot of money to clean this up, that's not going to bode well for you. That's another reason. So any idea of fixing it in post is not really a good thing.
It's your safety net. Don't rely on it.
Right, right. So that's pretty much what we have for you tonight. Hopefully you got something out of this and feel a lot more comfortable for not just knowing about the different stickies and mounts and basic methods, but you feel a lot more comfortable about how we mount the mics and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
So more great audio series episodes to come.
Yep.
Do you want to give any final words?
Just it's always going to take time. Don't feel like, oh, this is the third job I've ever done and I'm not the fastest at it. But so never use it as a reason to kind of give yourself an excuse to stop doing it.
Right.
But always use it as a reason to get better. Just find that middle ground. It always is going to take time, and that's the only way to get better at something, truly. And to make those mistakes, because they're going to happen.
Yeah. And one of the things I tell my students all the time is that, the jobs that we do, not every job is going to be perfect.
Mhm.
But the one thing that I try to do, and I've said it many times, if I've had a bad gig, I need to go and think about that. What truly went bad? Were there things that I could control with this and I just got lazy, or I was hurried, or maybe I just didn't want to take the time to make the best mount, or was it something else? And then the next gig that I have, I do better. But I don't think I've ever come home from a gig that made me want to stop doing this.
And and there might be those times for some people. Maybe that person on set just made you frustrated. Maybe the weather conditions were worse than they were supposed to be. But if that does happen to you, it's very normal.
Yeah.
So don't let it be the reason to make you stop doing it. Just
Absolutely.
keep pushing forward if you love doing it. If you love doing this, I always say we're all crazy. Everyone in this room is crazy enough to want to go and do it again because we just love this art form. It's so much fun.
Cool. So that's what we have for you tonight. Are there any questions from our audience?
Well, first of all, thank you both, Alan and Andy. I learned some tricks my end tonight. Just the glasses, that was a new trick. Thank you, Andy, for showing that.
Oh, that's really cool.
I was like, I've never seen that one before. So, but yes, any questions for Alan or Andy from our wonderful guests? Any questions? Question from Marshall: does putting the wind protector take out a lot of sound?
So I'm sure if you put it up on some sort of graph and look at side by side, I'm sure it does in some way, but audibly, I've never really heard a difference. They're usually designed to make sure that doesn't happen.
Right.
The good ones.
Right.
But I'm sure in all technicality, there probably is some difference.
Well, there will always be a change in the high frequency content when you take a mic and you cover it with something. Okay. That's just the way it is. But it's when you go to make a purchase, the thing you want to look at that frequency response. And we tend to like, if we're doing a lot of narrative where we're hiding the mics, we want something that is a little brighter. But if you're doing stuff that is open air, documentary, that sort of thing, the microphone might be a little bright for you, but that's not a deal breaker, because you can just dial down or EQ and smooth out that high frequency.
Where when wind hits that capsule, there's no buffing that out.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's just baked in now.
Yeah. Did that answer his question?
Yes. Did that answer your question, Marshall, there? It did for sure.
Ooh,
Awesome. Any other questions? You're very welcome, Marshall. Did you all enjoy this wonderful session? Awesome. So yes. Awesome. Yes, did enjoy. Please do more of these. Yes. Super awesome. All right.
Well,
Well,
we'll bring you more then.
also the question did come. How can students see the recording for this? That did come up at the beginning of the session.
So that's going to be on our website, wearedcbs.com. It's actually, I don't know if it's on the Full Sail One article or not. I think it usually is. But it's just on your address bar, wearedcbs.com. All past DC buzzes can be found there. There's also great information about our mentorship program. So please take a look. You can right now find our part 1 that we did back in July. It usually takes us maybe a week or 2 to post this one onto our website. So give it a little bit of time if you want to rewatch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where you can find all that information.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that information.
So next month is going to be another technical one, but it's going to be Halloween based. And that'll be hosted by myself and by Jessica Cobine. And most likely I'll rope in the DC Buzz technical crew to be able to help out with it, because
Cool.
we were supposed to do one thing and our guest bailed on us. I
No.
won't say what happened. But
That be talent sometimes.
yeah, so we're gonna be, it'll be a surprise, but
I mean,
it
they
will
just
be, but it
disappear.
will be our annual Halloween DC Buzz.
Cool.
A lot of fun.
Awesome. So I know you want to say goodnight.
Good night. That's it. Cut it. No, I'm
Good
just
night.
kidding.
Good night, all.
Thank you all so much for stopping by
Cool.
and your great questions. We'll see you next month.
Yep.
Recording is